welcome to Mass Creations, high quality web and software development. Wherever your vision, bring it to life with Mass Creations based in Bury St Edmunds. From web or mobile development to SEO and IT consultancy. Whatever your vision, get in touch with Mass Creations and join the list of companies from Terrace Life to Balm Music to have worked with them. Call today on 07896 904 571. That's 07896 904 571. Or head to masscreations.co.uk and access their 24/7 live chat. Mass Creations, proud partners with Talking Town.
I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead. I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to a Talking Town special, the sponsorship reaction video. That's right, this morning the news broke that he called him Harry Sheeran. It's a good start, isn't it? Ed Sheeran is going to be sponsoring. I don't know who Harry Sheeran is, but we'll go with it. That's a classic Lambert drop, that is. That's brilliant. Well done, Martin. Let's start again. Ed Sheeran will be sponsoring our fantastic, famous Ipswich Town Football Club. I want to get your reaction. I want to hear from you guys and girls in the chat link as well. We've got some special people coming on to give their reaction to it. Harry Butcher, Ed Sheeran is a blue. He hates Norwich. Jem Evening from North Wales. Jonathan Hammond's in the room. Stephen Parry. His last tour sold 600 million from ticket sales. I think about 7 million ticket sales and from shirts. You know, it was big money. It was, you know, a lot of money. The boy's doing all right for himself, and now he sponsors the football club. Nathan King, I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a 4-4-2. Paul Cook plays 4-2-3-1s. Anyway, this is of course our starter for the evening, because at 8:30 we are live with Terry Butcher and Russell Osman for our UEFA Cup special. More fantastic intros coming up from there. Russ, welcome in from Yarmouth. Right, let's bring some guests in. First of all, she is the queen of cider, the queen of alcohol, and the queen of hearts. Here she is, Tractor Girl Amy. Nick Muller says he heard the Ed Sheeran, not Harry, outbid Home Dressing Room for sponsorship. Amy, welcome in. What do you make of the news today?
I am so excited. What a strange world we live in, where the on the pitch action, I forgot we were even playing on Tuesday night, didn't even realise. And actually, I got messages through today on my WhatsApp. Oh, have you heard about the Ed Sheeran sponsorship? I was straight on there celebrating. So yeah, very, very excited. How nice to see this club going in such exciting new directions now.
Absolutely. Ipswich Jules, George, write this down, son. Talking Town hatch with a stitched on ginger wig. That sounds like a winner to me, Peter. Great to have a local lad sponsor us, but I'm not sure if it will look good on the kit. What do you make of the logo?
I like it. I think I believe I saw a post earlier from Ed saying that there was more to be revealed about what it means. So I quite like that, the idea of actually this is the beginning of the story and there's more to come. I think it's, it looks better than the Magical Vegas one did, doesn't it?
That's not hard, is it, really? It's really not. Let's just bring in Bricktop Coxey. Welcome in, my man. You heard the news.
Good evening.
We all did this morning. What do you make of it?
Well, it's really good news. Good old Harry SHEERAN. He's come through again, bless him.
Fucking Harry SHEERAN. So many of these, and I. Fucking hell.
Yeah, what a way to start. Yeah, I think it's good. It's good news. It's good all around. We've got very famous town fan. Is nearly as famous as all us contributors here on the HDR. He's getting there. Bless him. I mean, it's great on so many levels. We've got a town fan who's now sponsoring the shirts. It's obviously had a better reaction than the Magical Vegas one 2 years ago. I know a lot of people weren't happy about that because of the betting bits and pieces. Say we did have Mike and Chopra here still in at that time, but there you go. It's really good. And as Amy said, is there a clever bit of marketing there with the story with the logos? And now I know that obviously the divide is to do with his last tour and his last shirt he had. So this could be a good bit of marketing. It's all clever stuff, like it. And I can get used to this little tidbits of positivity finally coming out of the club. After all bloody misery we had for God knows how many years. This is quite good. So I'm enjoying all this.
And as Stephen Parry says, we've been trending all day, Amy. That's just huge for the football club. A third-tier football club trending. Oh, you're on mute, Amy.
You're muted.
Sorry, my little one's shouting in the background, so I was trying to. I think it is. It's really exciting. I think it's having spent the last 5 years or more banging my head against the table every time we release a press release. It's been nice to have all this excitement, and just seeing something that's clever, like you said, just seeing something that feels like it's more modern. I think I saw somebody. I'm so sorry. I think I saw somebody tweeting earlier that it just feels like we've actually sort of caught up with the times now. Rather than just feeling like we were dated, which seems so odd for an events company. I'm sure there's lots of people thinking I want Amy to be quiet, like Harry's shouting at me right now. So just it feels like we are moving on, and what a great. I'd love to know how the deal came about, whether it was Ed inquiring or whether the club were like, actually, this would be a really good idea.
Well, that's a good question. We've got Mark Steed here. This has always been Ipswich Club, and it should have an Ipswich sponsor. You guys deserve it. I couldn't be happier. Mr. Mark Steed, obviously part of the consortium there, Coxey. What do you make of that?
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. It's good to have as you said, there's always said here, it's good to have an Ipswich sponsor on the thing. Yes, not a betting company. Yeah, it's all very slowly. This is all small pieces of the puzzle, but things are. It's the positivity I like. Things are very gradually coming together. Hopefully, please God,
Yeah, well, no, absolutely. And I'll bring in somebody who is looking rather fresh. Is that a trim I see there, Mr. Nunn?
All right. I thought that's what this was about.
How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm right. A bit later.
Is that a trim? You've had a trim?
Yeah. So,
that or your ears lowered. Mark again goes, identity is priceless. You're a graphic designer. You know all about identity. What does this mean for the club? Radio 2. We're talking about this afternoon. The Steve Wright show. I couldn't believe my ears.
Like I said on Twitter earlier, I bloody love it. I think it's great. I think we just struggled to find a better local brand that we could hook ourselves to these days. To be honest with you, people were crying out for it, and the truth is, Fisons don't exist anymore. All of these sort of what are now seen as iconic local brands to us are probably only because they were on the shirt when we were good. It's not like we're all out buying horticultural chemicals 25 years ago. So yeah, I think they've done quite a job. Whether, like you say, whether he approached us or we approached him, I'm surprised that I think I said it when the rumours started that I'd be given the minority owners over in Phoenix, in Deeplo and Pete Wentz. I would have been surprised, or wouldn't have been surprised rather, if he'd stuck his hand in his pocket and tried to get involved at a small level of owning the club. Who knows? Maybe that's all part of this, but I'm sure Mark's not going to reveal that. But
yeah, that's just the journey to come. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't surprise me if this is just a step in that direction, because it's kind of their MO, isn't it? So yeah, I think it's great. I think I don't follow him particularly musically, but my son's a fan, and I know lots and lots of people around the world are fans. I think it's just great. I think it's great for the club. Hopefully, it will be great for him. Yeah, I don't think I could have thought of a more suitable sponsor, to be honest.
No,
absolutely.
I completely agree with that. And it is an identity. Is us. He is one of us. Just a boy done good, and I absolutely love it. I love it. And you're right about local brands. You talk about your Adnams or Green King, and Edge so much bigger than them. I'm not sure what
the rules are with alcohol on shirts anymore, but I don't think you can have it in the FPL, can you?
No, you can. You can probably have betting companies and all sorts.
Yeah, you can have betting, but not alcohol.
The thing is that whether you like Ed Sheeran's music, very few people dislike him as the brand. Whereas it's much easier to have an issue immediately with a gambling brand, regardless of what their history is, how well known. I think part of the problem with Magical Vegas is that A, their logo was hideous until they made it monotone, and B, nobody knew who they were. So it's not like you can even kind of. They were just really difficult to get on board with for me as a sponsor. So yeah, I think it's great.
You're north of the border. How's it been? How's it been received over there? Because from what I can see, they've gone up, but we've had all the press as always.
Well, I mean, mercifully, I'm not allowed out of my house really at the moment, so I don't have to put up with it too much. I've already decided that my Phoenix shirt is going to be my surrogate Ipswich shirt when I'm walking around Norwich, because a few people will know what the connection is. But yeah, I've had a couple of messages from people today. I mean, I'm friendly with a few Norwich fans, and yeah, I've had a few digs in the side for it, but I'm used to it. It's just this week's thing, isn't it? But yeah, I think if they could have Coleman's back, they'd have Coleman's back, wouldn't they? It's just nice to have these local businesses and fans attached to your club. So I'm sure that they realise the value in it.
But it's more than that. If Coleman started sponsoring Norwich, Amy, they wouldn't get what I think it was 100,000 extra Instagram followers in the morning. Like, huge.
It's the global appeal. It's the club thinking big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Magical Vegas, exactly as George said, that's a great thing for them. Getting their name known by a few more people, and perhaps some of our fans might have used their services, whatever, but it felt like it was a business decision, whereas this is a club decision. This is done for the community. This is done because it's something that really works for us as a football club and us as a community. And it will, when he had his concert at Chantry Park a couple of years ago, I think it was now. He had that special limited edition shirt which sold out immediately. Well, these shirts are going to be bought by not just Ipswich fans. It will be Ed Sheeran fans, and you might even find that where we've been losing fans down the toilet over the last 20 years, slowly but surely, actually this might be a way of having some back that maybe wouldn't have had. You don't nowadays hear. I have lots of friends who have supported Ipswich for random reasons, 10, 20 years ago, but not these days. So this might be a random, one of those stories you tell people in the pub about why you support your club. It might be, well, actually, it's because I liked Ed Sheeran and he supported Ipswich, but also it's another way of getting back the younger fans. Like if you're at school, it might no longer seem sad to support Ipswich because actually, yeah, that's Ed Sheeran's club and we all like Ed Sheeran. Or, you know, I'm not down with the kids these days, so I'm not sure, but I would have thought that that's a really nice way for us to tap back in with the younger generation that we are losing after having 20 years of lower and of the football getting lower and lower in the leagues.
Absolutely, yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Andreas, had my first jab today. Good work. Is it all right for me to get shit-faced? What a day. Well, the side effects are like that anyway, so you might just plough on. Not medical advice. James Reed. Good evening, lady and lads. Any chance of getting Ed Sheeran on the podcast? Well,
we're working on it.
Certainly are. We certainly are. Lee Bayes. This is just fantastic, both the club and Ed Sheeran. It's a perfect match, Yatesy. What do you make about that?
It is. It's both a perfect match, personal to the club and from a marketing perspective. Because I remember. From the other half, she always liked One Direction, and there was a point many years ago where Louis Tomlinson from One Direction had a charity game at Doncaster. And I think the club used that to their advantage as well, because I think, if I'm right, I think they sold out the ground because of the wide fan base that the band came from. And if I'm right, I think Derby also have Niall Horan as a fan as well. He's from One Day, and I think they do work with Niall Horan for certain skits and bits. So from a marketing side, it's an absolute peach of a deal. It's one of them. I think what the owners mentioned when they first came in about how they wanted to bring the younger generation back into the ground. I think this is one of the steps to do that, because we've got to remember. What's the main demographic for Ed Sheeran? It's probably going from your early teenager to 25, and then maybe it gets lesser and lesser as you get older. But it's one of that. It's a worldwide brand. I saw someone earlier saying how it was a little embarrassing. I'm not really sure how having a global brand is embarrassing, but I'll let that slide.
Who said that?
Well, it's Facebook, isn't it? It's Facebook troll. So it's one of them. It is a global brand. I think it's a
Magical Unicorn is so much better, or whatever it was called. Flipping it.
Magical Unicorn.
The money that it generates. Not only, I saw someone point out earlier that the club's Instagram page went on to, I think, grow about 1,000 followers within about just under an hour. I think I checked it before, and I think it was just over 2,000. So from a social media aspect, marketing aspect, and just Ipswich as a brand, the money that Ed Sheeran paid to put his logo on there, I think it's just a drop in the pond compared to what money it can actually bring in.
This is the thing now, isn't it? That we've gone from being a part of the Marcus Evans brand to everything else fitting into the Ipswich brand. And as has been said in the comments, we are claiming back the Ipswich brand. We're revisiting what that is, and we are focusing on what everything that makes us good. And that is the successful people that we've had in this area that still, even after, I'm assuming Ed doesn't even live in the UK anymore. I would imagine he's probably out in America for most of his life.
Framlingham.
Is he still in Framlingham?
Lives in Framlingham, yeah.
Apparently so, yeah.
To him. So, he's got the option to live anywhere, and he still chooses to love home, because that's what you do when you come from Ipswich and you come from Suffolk. You never quite leave it behind, I think, do you? I can say that from experience.
I'll give Eddie's dues here, Nanny. He was at Tottenham under-21s in the Papa John's Capital One, St Johnston's Paint Trophy, Doodah Trophy, whatever it's called. He was there when only 500,000 of the town fans were. That's commitment on a whole new level from a superstar, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that there was something a little nagging in me a little bit when he started turning up at Portman Road, that it was a bit of a PR stunt and what have you. But because I hadn't seen any mention of him being a town fan prior to that, and that's entirely his business, obviously. But it feels like he's potentially just kept it under wraps, and suddenly it's kind of manifesting itself in more impressive ways. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. If he's going out of his way to go to these sort of little games, and now he's obviously put his hand in his pocket to sponsor the team, and yeah, I think it's fair play to him. Fair play. I think, you know, from a personal point of view, I can, really honestly say that he's, you know, I have a lot of more respect for him, largely because I don't follow his music, as I say, but yeah, I think fair play. He's
I took the wife once,
showing his colours.
Took the wife once. He went. He's gone from okay. Absolutely love him now. Love him.
Yeah, I'm about to go download all his albums. I'm like, yeah, I'm on board this now.
Yes, I'm buying every single CD. The more you make, the more we hopefully make. That's what I'm going to make of that one. The same way I won't have a D.D. Smith cookbook anywhere near this house.
Damn right.
Do not support that in any way, shape, or form. The mother-in-law makes D.D. Smith sausage rolls. I ask every time, "Is this a D.D. Smith?" She says, "Yes." Not for me, thank you very much. I shan't be partaking in anything of that manner. It's just the way I am. But no, it's huge. It really is huge. And doesn't this play more, Coxie, into the owners when they first arrived? You know, saying that this wasn't an American takeover. It was our club. We want to give it back to the fans, make it a community asset. Well, how do you do that? You make the biggest star in the community part of it.
Yeah, looking at it from that perspective, it's a really good, good move. Now they are saying what they said. You know, it's not going to be an American brand. It's going to be a community. It's so smart on so many levels. I mean, you go back to what Amy said. It's, you know, it sort of could get the demographics of the younger fans. It works on so many levels. It's really clever. I'm not a marketing man, but you know, to me, the normal man in the street, the normal fan, it's the more I think about it, the more people put across different points of views. You know, I'm thinking, yeah, this is a really smart move.
Yeah, it really is. And go on, Nanny.
I was going to say, it feels like they could have gone either way. Right? It would have been easy for them to just find another small or even larger betting company who already sponsor 7 clubs through the league. They could have gone to the other side of the Atlantic and found someone that was local to them to really try and push the brand on in the States. Yeah. But they haven't. They've done exactly what they said they'd do, which is find that connection to the community. And it's just another thing that's pulled us all together, isn't it? Like, I mean, I haven't seen many negative or even nonplussed comments from town fans today. And yeah, I think it's just a masterstroke, really. I think it's, you know, my first reaction was it felt genius from a marketing perspective. I'm not a marketing person either, but yeah, it feels like a really, great move.
Oh, it's huge, yeah. It really is. And those brands may come further down the journey, the more, you know, we get hopefully towards where we want to get to. But for right now, Kurt, is this a real statement of intent from the owners? Because yeah, we've not had a market yet. The transfer window is not open. But if this is the sign of what they've got thinking and vision, this is wow.
I mean, the owners have previous for getting celebrities into their
yeah.
So I mean, we're talking. I mean, what was it? Diplo has some kind of investment into Phoenix, and I think a couple of us. I can't roll off the tongue, but they do have form for wanting to bring in these names, which are obviously going to generate a lot more interest when it comes to being on the news. I mean, let's face it. It's a lot better seeing that logo on the shirt than seeing Marcus Evans and seeing Magical Vegas. Even when they made it, it was extremely horrible to look at. I didn't really like. I thought the kit was nice. I just thought the sponsorship absolutely ruined it. It's one of them. I think the owners have form for it, so I wouldn't actually be surprised if this starts becoming a common theme of, obviously, throughout the years. I think they'll be here for quite a while. I know they're wanting to make money as soon as possible, but I think they'll be here for quite a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing certain investments, not just from the sponsorship side, but in terms of into the actual club itself. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing investments from certain celebrities or reaching out into the contacts book, seeing who's interested. Because let's face it, if you get this club on the up, and you get more and more investors, everyone's going to want to be involved in it, because the further up the league you go, the more money you're going to make. So why would you not? It's the start of a very, very good relationship from their point and our point.
Yeah. And would you, Amy, how much do you think this is going to be worth to the football club?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't even know how to put a monetary value on it, but I think, you know me, I'm all about brand awareness, and I think that's for me is the most important thing. It's pulling back that feeling of this is our club, and that is the way that they're going to get season tickets sold. Is this idea that we're at the beginning of a new journey. That's the way they're going to get people back on board. That's the way they're going to get people back in those seats in August, is come and be part of the story of us climbing back up again. And this certainly feels like they're making a commitment to making that happen, to making things better, but also listening to us and listening to what the fans have said. There wasn't a great reaction to Magical Vegas a few years ago. I was one of the ones who was quite vocally against them, whereas it's been the complete opposite today. They've made the right decision. They've clearly done their market research, knowing what their customers want, and I just feel like it's brand awareness is more valuable than anything, and brand reputation, and that is what they are recovering very, very, very speedily at the moment. One thing I would ask though is, I know that there was a bit of a mixed reaction to the season ticket refunds, and there's a little nagging voice in my head that says, well, is this sort of pulling the wool over our eyes over that? And should we be forgiving the errors around that because of this, if that makes sense? I suppose that depends on how you feel about the season ticket refunds, and I have no strong feelings either way. I understand both sides of the argument, but I feel like maybe the season ticket prices is a more important topic, but it does depend on how you look at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a fair point, Coxie, but I think they're very separate issues. I do.
Yeah.
The season ticket refund almost felt like a bog standard English football templated response to it, whereas this is, well, clearly driven by the American consortium, about brand awareness, about putting them back on the global map. And it has, and as Ashley Bell says here, multiple millions on every national website, football or otherwise already, and haven't even revealed the shirt yet, already had much info about it. This could lead on to concerts at Portman Road, which we've had concerts at Portman Road before. It's a good stadium. It's in a good part of the world, not far from London. It's quite a dry area as well, so you can have outside concerts fairly confidently. Could be the start, and as we mentioned on the shows already, it could be the start of other acts following him, either investment or in the concert route. Put it on the map. Really, it's quite an exciting time, and it's a clear sign for me of intent. And you don't hitch your wagon to a dead horse. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? No, you don't. This for me shows where this football club is now trending. And, you have to sell him the vision the same way they've sold everybody else. And I can firmly get behind a really exciting summer. Because you don't know, do you, George? You'd have to think this is just the start of what will be a real tidal wave of just excitement.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a bit overwhelming, really, isn't it? We've gone from 6 weeks ago, whenever it was, when we were all down in the dumps and everything was pretty bloody miserable, and now it just feels like it's not ending. And I take Amy's point on the season ticket. Now, obviously, I'm not a season ticket holder at the moment. The lack of cheaper, I said to you the other day, Martin, the lack of cheaper tickets for kids is what stops me coming down from Norwich, because it's just not logistically affordable. But it wouldn't surprise me if they're so separate. Like, I can see this being such a massive decision in terms of the sponsorship of the entire club, something those guys are going to have had a massive hand in. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the season ticket side of it was kind of left a bit more to the people that were already installed at the club. Maybe Leo Neal, they probably just reviewed what was already going to be announced and went more or less with that, and weren't likely to know what the reaction was going to be unless they basically just halved all of the tickets, which is just unrealistic, because next year when they doubled in price, everyone would just moan. So I think they were on a bit of a hiding to nothing with that kind of thing, but I think this is more of a statement of intent. What happens in terms of recruitment and who we bring in to do the recruitment, as we keep saying. And as I've said millions of times before, it's not about the fact that Marcus Evans didn't spend the money. It's how badly he spent the money, as far as I'm concerned. He just made bad decision after bad decision, and good plans that just didn't act on the plan. There's nothing wrong with his 5-point plan. He just didn't do anything with it. It's all very well and good having a plan, but acting out that plan is the difficult bit. And these guys are already sort of keeping their promises and sticking to their word. I'm not saying it's going to last forever. I'm sure we're going to have ups and downs between us, but I think they've done nothing but positive things. And the next 3 months could be bonkers.
Yeah, it really could. Ashley Bell, based on the turnout for the Chantry Park gigs, you could easily do a week of gigs at Portman Road and comfortably sell them out. Julian,
interesting what Ashley was saying about the stadiums there, because actually when you look at Stadium of Light, I've seen Take That at Etihad twice. That's where we go now, isn't it? It's big football clubs, so it's big, that you could see us becoming. You could see Portman Road being like a Stadium of Light. And just being the East Anglian location for the concerts and things like that. Because I'm trying to think where you would go at the moment. There's not really any big concert locations in East Anglia, I don't think, is there? Cambridge Corn Exchange, but that's not as massive as the football club, I don't think.
I think an Ed Sheeran concert will come at Portman Road. I think once COVID's out of the way, I think it will happen.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be part of the deal.
Absolutely,
yeah. 100%.
Yeah, homecoming tour. It's the homecoming stop, isn't it? And it might become a regular thing in every tour he does. That he ends every tour at Portman Road. His hometown, because we're not far from London, so you attract that, you attract people, and it'd be really good for the town as a whole. Look how it was at Chantry. Amazing stuff. It really was. I'm just so excited for what now the next few days, weeks, months have in store. It's just, wow. Russ Robinson, I saw Ted at Shallow Road twice last year when you get into Portman Road. Yeah. I mean, that's not a huge...
Oh, that's right, they were there, weren't they?
It's not a huge stadium, though, is it? In terms of like when you think about big stadia.
Norwich's appeal is their catchment area, though, which is that they reach down to Ipswich, they reach over and beyond Cambridge, so they've got a massive base in terms of a fan, and it's the same with the city, which is why it's a lovely place to be. But it's it has an appeal, a strong appeal, and a strong catchment area. But beyond Norfolk, nobody wants to come to Norwich. That's part of the reason why it's nice, because we don't get many people coming here because it's bloody miles from anywhere. Ipswich is different because it's much closer to London, and I think concert-wise, it's likely to probably do better than somewhere like Carrow Road.
You will never get me saying Norwich is nice, ever. I avoid that place like it's got the plague. Honestly, my wife says, should you go shopping in Norwich? No. Brandon, am I wrong that we used to have a lot of artists? Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Rod Stewart has done a couple. But we're now going from maybe a certain type of artist that's to a different. I'm not going to open that whole can of worms. I'm staying away from that. Good old Harry Sheeran. The Darren. Great news all round. Can't wait for next season. I'm glad I've done this show because it's a great warm up for the main event coming up in a minute because I'm fucking all over the show.
It's a bit hors d'oeuvre for this, yeah.
It really is, yeah. It's nice little bit of garlic bread. Callie Bisler, plus Stansted ain't far from Portman Road, so forward. Yeah, I agree. Bald and Blue. Canaries have Delia, we have Ed, he writes songs, and she makes bread.
Hey! That's brilliant.
Get that on a shirt, Nunny. Nunny, that's going to be like hot cake.
Get design on that one, Nunny.
That's a great one. That's really good. Oh, Michael Finch. There's only one thing about Norwich, and that's the A140 out of it. Jem, maybe get the England games back on Portman Road too. Yep, slowly, but that's, again, as the Americans have always said, Kurt, it's good. It's okay having it off the field, but your performances on the field is what gets your club bigger and gets those sort of games back at your stadium.
Exactly. It's exactly what you mentioned there. The performances on the field will therefore bring what we want to happen. So, the more news that we generate, the more England games will be held there, even if it's England under 21 games. Just get them in, because I saw that comment earlier saying how the ground's been underused. it really has been underused. I mean, what was it up until a couple of years ago? We had like West Ham there, like we had West Ham, but then before that, we weren't even really playing in pre-season. So it's one of them. We need to perform on the pitch in order to have an effect like we've had today. But, well, time will tell. I just want to say how nice it is to after the year and a bit that we've had, including the pandemic and an awful football club. How nice is it that in the past month or 2, 3, whatever, and now going on for the next 3 months, how nice it is to have something to be positive about.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah.
It feels like the light at the end of the tunnel for everything, doesn't it? The pandemic's coming to the end. Hopefully, the bad times at Ipswich Town are coming to an end, and there's a great summer ahead for all of us. And actually, do you know what? With the last game of the season being so close now, normally I would be absolutely beside myself excited about the last day of the season, having a great day out with my mates, staying late. You know, having an absolute massive bender is normally my my goal for the last game of the season. And
just for the last game of the season.
Well, what else are you going to do during lockdown? It'll change next year. But this year, I'm not even that fussed about. I'm really worried about this reputation that I seem to be building for myself. She says, having a sip of wine.
Too late.
This year, I'm just not. I'm celebrating because I just want this over with now. I want this season finished. I want this era done with. This weekend is like, right, okay, we're toasting the new era, and this is like the warm up to it. This is the pre-season to the new era, I think, and things are really going to start rolling now.
Yeah, it's not like we can't start it properly until this season is ended.
Yes,
absolutely. From getting going until, and this is great. This is a great thing to happen 4 days before the end of the season. But yeah, it feels like because there's still something for us to not quite be happy about when we watch the football on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, what it feels like is the fat lady is getting ready to sing on this season, on this squad, on this old regime, and there's Ed waiting in the wings, ready to come on stage as the new act, the new face, this is the way we're going to go from now on. And it just feels like this whole bubble is just going to go from what we've been watching. I won't say names. You can probably guess who I'm thinking of. To this is what we're going to get in the future, and I'm really excited. And if you can't be positive now, if you're still going to be negative, I don't know if I. What's it going to take?
Not to mention. I mean, I've just been sent this. I mean, I've just been told the Ipswich FA Youth Cup semi-final is going to be shown on BT Sport.
Certainly is
on the 12th of May on Main Street.
Amazing.
Yeah. Next Wednesday, we've got a ticket, matchday ticket around it. Looking forward to that. Hopefully, going to watch some town goals, Kurt.
You'd hope so. Yeah, I think, like people said in the last game, I think they've probably only been the bright spark of this season. And I'm not being funny. The game itself was fantastic to watch. It was a really good game between two good youth teams. But yeah, no, I mean that's on mainstream television, and again reaching numerous amount of football fans. So fair play to them. And it's trending again.
Absolutely. Right. We are done and dusted for this reaction. We are back tomorrow with Adam and TJ for more Ed Sheeran reaction. We've got Stephen Ward being released, the Golden Bomber. Dark day. And whatever else we can sort of come up with. But in about 20 minutes' time, there will be Terry Butcher, Russell Osman, the Cruncher, and Matt Phillips, along with the GOAT Colin, and of course Graham, an author, a best-selling author, on your screens. But for this evening, Amy, Coxie, Nunny, and Kurt, I love you. I appreciate you. Brighter days are ahead. Let me just, let's end it. Let's end it with that.
Bye.